7th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing at least 40 squats, at least 40 lunges, at least 40 reps of an ab exercise, and at least 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 30, but that does not mean that it is too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join the challenge. That being said, of course, you do not have to do the entire challenge. If you just want to do today's workout with me, fantastic. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to hear a little bit more about what the challenge is, how you can participate, where to begin, and if you would like to see today's exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So there is a playlist for this challenge. I am going to link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked at the very end of the video as well. I'm going to link it right on the screen at the end of the video so you cannot miss it. So click on the link and save the playlist. Even if this is the first you're hearing about the challenge and you're unsure whether or not you want to participate, save the playlist so that when and if you decide you want to participate in the challenge, you have all of the workouts readily available to you, and it will be super easy to follow along. Now, you do not have to follow along with the playlist if you want to participate in the challenge. Literally, the only requirement to participate in this challenge is just that you are doing a total of 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. So I start with day 1, and the workouts are labeled days 1 through 40, and I go in order. That's how I do the challenge. I share a new workout with you every single day. Of course, you are welcome to follow along with the playlist and go in order, but just know that if you're the one doing it, it is your challenge, so you do it in whatever way works for you. So I like to incorporate my daily reps into a structured workout that I share with you every day, and you are welcome to follow along with the daily videos. But if you don't have time to do all of your reps at once, or if you just don't want to incorporate your reps into a structured workout, you can spread out your reps throughout the course of the day. So you could get up in the morning and first thing do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of an ab exercise, and 10 push-ups. It could be any variations of those 4 exercises you want. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout the course of your day. That is absolutely fine. This challenge is really, really flexible. Also, if you are an absolute beginner and you think you can't do this challenge, yes, you can. So I have a separate playlist for absolute beginners. I'm going to link that playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked on the screen at the very end of the video. So if you are an absolute beginner, if you are in the worst shape imaginable, you do not own a single piece of fitness equipment, you've never done a workout before a day in your life, and you think you can't do a 40-day fitness challenge, you think you can't do a squat, you think you can't do a push-up, yes, you can. I would like you to please click on the link in the iCard and save last year's playlist. Last year was my 6th year in a row doing the challenge, so it will say 6th annual SLAP challenge. Save that playlist. You don't have to commit to anything just yet. You don't have to do a single squat. You don't have to do any push-ups yet. I'm asking you to do 3 things for me. Number 1, click on the link in the iCard. Number 2, save last year's playlist. That's year 6. And number 3, just start by watching that day 1 video. That day 1 video that I shared last year is going to explain everything you could ever possibly want to know about the challenge, what it is, why we're doing it, what we're looking to accomplish with this challenge. I talked about all of the different facets of this challenge because we're not just doing this challenge to improve our physical health, we are doing this challenge to improve our mental health as well. There's a huge mental health component to this. I also went into great detail instructing you how to do your squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups with the correct form, and I provided tons of beginner modifications that I promise you can do. I also talked a lot about how you can customize the challenge to accommodate your current fitness level. So if you are an absolute beginner and it just sounds too daunting to do a 40-day fitness challenge, I hear you. But can you commit to do a 20-day fitness challenge? Because you can do just the first 20 days with me if you want, or the last 20 days. Maybe you could do every other day of the challenge. If that's still too much, commit to doing 15 days or 10 days. Maybe you could do every other day of the challenge with me or every other week. Again, if you're the one doing it, it is your challenge. So you do it in whatever way works for you. But think about it. Think about what is a realistic goal for you, and then use decisive language. Instead of saying, I'll try to find time to start on Monday, maybe, you're gonna say, I can do this challenge. I can commit to doing, maybe you can't do 160 reps every day, but I can commit to doing 40 reps every day. That's 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of abs, and 10 push-ups. I can commit to doing 40 reps every single day for 20 days. Say, if that's realistic for you, then commit. So don't say, I'll try to see if I can find time to start on Wednesday. No. If you're going to do it, make the decision and use decisive language. Say, I am doing this challenge, and here's how I'm going to do it. I promise you that making that commitment and being decisive about it and saying those words out loud and removing all the tries and the maybes and the ifs, that is the hardest part, I promise you. From there, following through is actually pretty easy, and just know that when and if you decide you want to participate in the challenge, I am here. I'm not just doing the workouts with you every day. I am here to help guide you through the challenge. So if you're an absolute beginner, you will not be going through the challenge alone. You will have me here to guide you through it. You will have me here to help support you and encourage you along the way. I can help provide motivation if that's what you need. I'm here to answer any and all questions you may have about the challenge or about a particular workout. So even if you're an absolute beginner and you're following along with last year's videos, that's fine. If you have any questions, you can comment on any of the videos from last year, and I will be here to help. I will answer any questions that you have. So again, if you're an absolute beginner, please just click on the link in the iCard, save the Year 6 playlist, and start by watching that Day 1 video. Give me an opportunity to convince you that you can do squats, you can do push-ups, you can do this fitness challenge with me. Then decide to what extent you are capable of participating and make the commitment. And then when you are ready to begin the challenge, if you're doing all 40 days, if you want to start on day 1, just make sure you start with that day 1 workout on a Wednesday. And from there, everything will fall into place. All you have to do is follow along with the playlist. It is super easy to follow along. So whether you are beginner, intermediate, or advanced, regardless of your fitness level, regardless of which playlist you are following along with to do this challenge, if you want to start the challenge on day 1, it is always designed as a 40-day challenge, and the challenge is always designed to start on a Wednesday. So just make sure that you start with your day 1 reps on a Wednesday, and from there, just follow along with the playlist. So if you are following along with this year's workouts, this is my 7th year in a row doing the challenge, I'm going to assume that you are not a complete beginner. I'm going to assume that you are at more of an intermediate level. And by that, I mean that you have access to a few basic pieces of fitness equipment, at least like a set of dumbbells and an exercise mat. Maybe you don't have a medicine ball or a dip bar, but I have been providing equipment-free substitutions every day. But I am also assuming if you're at more of an intermediate level that you have a general understanding of how to do your squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups with the correct form. So I have not been going into as much detail with regard to how to do the exercises correctly, and I have not been providing as many beginner modifications as I did last year. So I'm always here to help. If you need any additional help with equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications beyond what I'm providing in the videos this year, please just ask. I'm always here to help. Now, none of that means that you are banished from this year's challenge if you are a beginner. You are welcome to follow along with the videos I'm sharing this year. Just know that you may need to be applying equipment-free substitutions and beginner modifications while you're watching me do something else. And you may have some questions about some of the exercises, how to do them correctly. You may need help with beginner modifications. So that's fine. I am here to help. You can always ask questions if you have them. I know that not all beginners are automatically at the same level just because they're beginners. So it's possible that you are a beginner, but last year's workouts are maybe a little bit too easy for you, or maybe I was taking the workouts at a little bit slower pace than what you feel like you need. So you can follow along with this year's videos if you're a beginner, but I am assuming if you're following along with these Year 7 videos that you are at more of an intermediate level. If you are more advanced, if you're really strong, you have excellent stamina, you definitely have access to some basic fitness equipment, and you maybe have a little bit more time to dedicate to your workouts each day, then you might want to follow along with the playlist I shared for year 5 of the challenge. Year 5, the workouts we were doing for the challenge were much longer and much more difficult. We were frequently doing more than just those 160 reps, so more than just 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups. We were doing more challenging variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups, and we were doing other exercises in addition to our squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. I was adding weight to most of those workouts, and I was also incorporating about 20 minutes or so of moderate paced cardio into most of those workouts. So I'm going to put the link for the year 5 playlist up here on the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked on the end screen. So all 3 workouts, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, years 5, 6, and 7, all 3 of those playlists will be linked in the iCard. All 3 of those playlists will be linked in the description box down below the video, and all 3 of those playlists will be linked on the screen at the very, very end of the video. So especially if you are advanced, I recommend saving all 3 playlists, because again, you don't have to go in order through the playlist, but you also don't have to stick with the same playlist for the entire challenge. You can kind of bounce around between the playlists. And that way, on any given day, you will have 3 options to choose from. You will have a beginner version, an intermediate version, and an advanced version. So maybe you're really strong, and maybe you're capable of doing the more advanced workouts that we did for year 5 of the challenge, but maybe you're traveling, you don't have access to equipment, or you're really, really pressed for time, or maybe you're just feeling tired and you need something that's going to be a little bit less strenuous for you, then you may want to do one of the workouts off of the year 6 playlist. They're still great workouts, and if you're in really, really great shape, then you are most likely going to be able to finish almost all of the workouts we did for last year's challenge in under 10 minutes. So they are a really great option to have. The same thing goes if you're at more of an intermediate level and you're following along with me this year. If on any given day you look at the workout we're doing that day and you think it looks a little bit too tough for you, a little bit out of reach, or you don't have the equipment I'm using, you can always check out the workout that we did for the corresponding day last year for the challenge. You'll be guaranteed not to need any equipment. The exercises will probably be a bit easier, the workout will probably be a bit shorter, and I will provide a little bit more instruction, and we'll take it at a slower pace. So that is always an option. If you open up the workout for any given day and you think, well, I feel like I can do more than that today. I've been doing the challenge for almost 30 days now. I'm starting to feel stronger, and I have a little bit of extra time today. Well, in that case, if you want something that's going to push you a little more, then you can check out the workout for the corresponding day from year 5 of the challenge. But it doesn't have to be the workout from the corresponding day. So you don't have to do the day 30 workout on day 30. You can do any of the workouts off of any of these playlists on any given day. It doesn't even have to be off of one of these playlists. It doesn't even have to be off of my channel. Any workout in the whole world that happens to contain at least 40 squats, at least 40 lunges, at least 40 reps of any ab exercise, and at least 40 push-ups will work. You could write your own workout, or again, you don't even have to do a structured workout. Remember, you can split up your reps randomly throughout the day. So any way you want to get your 160 reps done is fine. So if you save all 3 playlists, then you will have 3 options to choose from. You'll have a beginner, intermediate, and advanced option on any given day of the challenge. But remember, you can do any of the workouts off of any of those playlists on any given day, and you will have met your requirement to participate in the challenge. So hopefully that is all clear. If you have any more questions about the challenge, what it is, why we're doing it exactly, what we're looking to accomplish with it, if you're unsure about what fitness level you're at or which playlist you should be following along with, or if you're having any trouble with the links for the playlists, I'm right here to help. So please ask questions if you have them. But that's enough about the challenge for today. Let's go ahead and get into the exercises that we are doing for today's workout. So first of all, you can see that I have my dip bar here and my pink Oogie ball for reference, and for reference only, my pink Oogie ball weighs 8 pounds. That is a good weight for me. You may need to use something lighter than that. You may need to use something heavier than that. That depends on your strength. It depends on your level of fitness. It also just depends on what you have available to you. And of course, it depends on how hard you are looking to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when choosing your weight and make the decision that is best for you. But pretty much any kind of exercise ball will work as long as it's not too heavy for you. So if you don't have a medicine ball, this is kind of a hybrid between a medicine ball and like a balance ball, but to me, this is just kind of a big soft medicine ball. So if you don't have something similar to this, any kind of exercise ball will work. You could use a larger, like a Swiss ball or a balance ball. They're not gonna weigh as much, but they'll still work. So any kind of ball is fine. If you don't have a ball, don't worry about it. I will be providing equipment-free substitutions, but I love my Oogie ball. I use it all the time. Now, my dip bar, if you do not have a piece of equipment similar to this, first of all, I do recommend owning something similar to this because this is a very useful and very versatile piece of equipment. I'm not sponsored, please. I have like 600 subscribers, so don't think I'm sponsored, but just if you're curious, this brand is Ultimate Body Press. I've had this dip bar for years and I've been very happy with it, but there are definitely cheaper versions out there, or I shouldn't say cheaper, less expensive versions. I don't know the quality of them. I can only speak to the quality of the one I have. So I will say that this one is good quality. I've been happy with it. I've had it for a very long time, but it was a little bit more on the expensive side. I know you can find pieces of equipment similar to this one for less money. So, you know, shop around. There used to be an Amazon branded one, but I don't think it exists anymore. But there are plenty of pieces of equipment similar to this. So another thing you could do if you are looking to add to your home gym and you want to shop for something like this, I'm sure you could find something like this maybe gently used or maybe even never used on like Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or something like that. Frequently, there is exercise equipment on sites like that because people buy it thinking they're going to use it and get themselves in shape at home, and then they don't follow through. So people are constantly selling exercise equipment, just looking to get some of that money back that they spent on it. So definitely check sites like that. But if you don't want to spend, you know, $20, $30, $40, I will bet that you could find an old walker on OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace for $10, $15. And that is something that you can definitely use the same way I'm going to be using my dip bar today. So that's another great option. Another great option is taking your workout to the park. There's a park within walking distance of me that has parallel bars and also pull-up bars. So you could go to the park and you'll be able to use what's there. If you have a park like that that's close to you that has stuff like that, parallel bars, pull-up bars, you'll be able to use that stuff as well. But if none of that's going to work for you, don't worry about it. You really can just use, I'm using this for 2 exercises. And for one of those exercises, I'm just using it as a target. So you can use anything about this height for a target. Last year we used a fold-out chair. So a chair will work, but you don't even need a target. You can visualize a target. So really, we're just using it for one exercise. And for that exercise, it's our ab exercise, and you can do any ab exercise you want. So you do not need a piece of equipment similar to this. But if you happen to have access to an old walker, you'll definitely be able to use that. Or if you have a pull-up bar. I have one of those pull-up bars that fits right in the door frame. They're pretty inexpensive. So if you have something like that, you'll definitely be able to use that for today's workout for our ab exercise if you want. All right, so that is the equipment I'm using today. Now let's get into the variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups that we are doing. So we will start with squats. I'm going to be adding weight to my squats. I'm going to be holding onto my 8-pound Oogie ball. But you can do any squat variation you want. Just mind your form on the squats. So remember that you want your shoulders back and down. So I like to think about tucking my shoulder blades into my back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted nice and high, abs are tight. And then before I squat, I like to think about this as a hip hinge. So hinging at the hips, push that booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. At the same time, remember those shoulder blades are tucked into the back pockets, chest is lifted high. So I'm also thinking about trying to touch the wall in front of me with my chest. My spine is elongated, my back is flat. All of my weight is in my heels. Do you see I can actually pick up my toes? And from here is where I'll go ahead and sink down into my squat. Then press your heels into the ground to stand. So that's just a basic air squat. You can do air squats if you want. Remember, you can do any squat variation you want, but I'm going to be doing a jump squat. And first I'm going to be doing a halo with my Oogie ball. But just make sure that whatever squat variation you choose, you're minding your form. Flat back, weight in the heels. So I'm just going to hold onto my ball And then I'm going to first do a halo. So I'm just like making a halo around my head with the ball. And then I'm going to do my squat, and I'm going to do a jump, and that's it. Super simple. Alternating sides with each rep with regard to the direction that I'm moving the ball. So halo in the other direction, squat, and jump. Okay, so alternating between rotating the ball clockwise and counterclockwise. But that's it, super simple. So equipment-free substitution, just do squat jumps. And I was going to add a little oblique twist, but I feel like we've done that squat variation so much, I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. But if you're not adding weight, then it doesn't really make sense to do the halo. So in that case, you could just do a squat jump, and then if you want, you could add an oblique twist, or you could add a kick, or swing the leg up. Any squat variation you want is fine. So any kind of jump squat, if you want to add another element to it, that's fine. That's going to be the most similar to what I'm doing. If you don't have a ball, but you still want to increase the difficulty by adding weight, first of all, you can do this with a lighter ball, and it'll still be a great exercise. But if you want to add weight to the workout, and you don't have a medicine ball, then you can absolutely hold on to a dumbbell or a kettlebell and make your halo, and then do your squat jump. That's absolutely fine. You could also look for household items that will work. So you could maybe fill a water bottle or shampoo bottle with some sort of weight, maybe water, or maybe you can make it a little heavier by filling it with something like uncooked rice, dried beans, or lentils, kitty litter, powdered laundry detergent, something like that. If you're taking your workout to the beach or the park or the hiking trail today, you might be able to fill it with sand or water, or those little decorative pebbles, you might be able to fill it with something like that. So get creative and use what you've got. You could even just hold on to like a big rock if you're taking your workout to the beach or the park or the hiking trail today. So as long as you can find something that you are able to maintain a secure grip on so that you're not going to drop it and injure yourself or break something and make a mess, and as long as it is not too heavy for you, then any number of household items can work. So get creative, use what you've got, and then just do your halo, holding on to whatever you're using for weight, and then do your squat variation with or without a jump. If you don't want to add the jump, you can add a calf raise. Again, you can add a side kick, a front kick. It doesn't matter, okay? Just mind your form on the squat. Flat back, weight in the heels. But that is my squat variation. If you are doing the exercise without any added weight, then again, just squat jump, and then you can add another element if you want. So moving on to lunges, I'm using my dip bar for the lunges, but I'm just using my dip bar as a target. So I'm just going to place my dip bar in front of me, and I'm standing behind it, and I'm just going to swing my legs up and over this handle of the dip bar. So I'm going to just pick up one foot and swing the leg first across my body towards the opposite wall. Then I'm bringing my leg up and over the handle of my dip bar. Then I'm going to pick up the opposite foot and bring the leg up and over in the same direction. So now again, bringing my foot towards this wall first, up and over the dip bar, and then I'm going to allow my momentum to continue. This leg swings behind me, and I'm coming down into a reverse lunge. Now in year 5, we added a little kick. You can add a kick. I'm not gonna do that today. I'm just gonna go right into my next rep. So from here, this back foot is going to swing first across my body towards the opposite wall, and then up and over my dip bar. Now the other leg follows in the same direction. Leg swings behind, reverse lunge, okay? So up and over, and lunge, up and over, and lunge. So with each rep, you're swinging both legs up and over the bar in the same direction, and then landing in your lunge. So last year we did this exercise using a chair as a target. So anything that's roughly about this height will work. You don't need to use a target. You can visualize a target and swing your leg over an imaginary target. That's fine. I just find it helpful to have a physical obstacle that I have to clear, because you'll see me a couple of times, I'm sure, as I fatigue, you'll hear me like kind of graze the top of my dip bar. So having a physical target there helps me to make sure that each rep, I'm really working hard to get my leg up and over, really engaging my core, and it keeps me from getting lazy and kind of, being down here with it. So just keep that in mind. The higher the target, the more difficult the exercise will be. The lower your target, the easier it will be. So if you want to use something low, you can use like a low plyo box or a low chair or stool, a milk crate, cinder box, that's fine. You could use like a park bench if you're taking your workout to the park or something like that. Or if you're home, a chair is fine. Anything about this height will work. So just make the decision that's best for you, but you don't need a physical target. You can use an imaginary target. So moving on to abs, this is the only exercise that I'm actually using my dip bar for, and this is not traditionally the ab exercise we have done for day 30 over the years, but I'm doing it today since I have my dip bar out. I figured why not use my dip bar and my oogie ball for my ab exercise. So I'll show you first without the oogie ball, super simple, I'm just doing knee raises. So I'm going to just grab a hold of both handles of my dip bar. Ideally you want to start from a dead hang, and then you're going to bend your knees, drive your knees up towards your chest, and then control the movement on the way down, okay? So just bringing the knees up towards your chest and then straightening the legs. Super simple, but super tough. So if you do not have a dip bar, definitely an old walker can work for that. Or if you're taking your workout to the park and they have parallel bars, you can use those. But you could also use a pull-up bar. So if you're at the park where there's a pull-up bar, you can use that, or if you own a pull-up bar, great, you can do hanging knee raises. So you can just, starting from a dead hang from your pull-up bar, same exercise. So instead of holding yourself up by the handles, you're hanging from your pull-up bar, but the exercise is the same, just bending the knees, driving your knees up towards your chest, lowering your knees back down, straightening the legs with control. Okay, so I'm going to be adding weight to that. I'm going to be squeezing my oogie ball between my knees just to increase the difficulty, but that is completely optional. But I figured, why the heck not? All right, we're day 30, and we're in our mama bear era this year, so mama bears are tough. Let's push ourselves. So increasing the difficulty a little by just holding on to my oogie ball while I do the knee raises, okay? So completely optional, but if you want to add weight, that is what I'm doing. And if you don't have a dip bar or something similar, you don't have an old walker, you don't have a pull-up bar, you don't have anything that's going to work, remember you can do any ab exercise you want. So you can get down on the mat and just do any sit-up variation you want, any crunch variation you want. If you want to stay standing, you can do some kind of standing ab exercise. Okay, we did this a lot last year. This is a great beginner standing ab exercise. Any ab exercise you want to do is fine, with or without a ball, with or without weight, okay? But that is my ab exercise. So that's squats, lunges, and abs. Onto push-ups. I'm doing shoulder tap push-ups. So the push-up itself is just a standard push-up. So remember with your push-ups to keep your head in line with your spine, shoulders away from the ears, make sure your back is flat. You want your body in one perfectly straight line from your heels all the way to your shoulders. The push-up itself is just a standard push-up, and then I'm just going to be doing a couple of shoulder taps. I think we'll just do 2 shoulder taps. In year 5 we did 4 shoulder taps, but I'm increasing the difficulty by putting my feet on the ball for this. So I think 2 shoulder taps is fine. So I'm just going to have my hands on the ground, feet on the ball. Head is in line with the spine, so don't allow your head to drop down like this. You do not need to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. You just want your head perfectly in line with your spine. Shoulders are away from the ears, so make sure you're not sinking down into your shoulders. Press the ground away from you, and make sure your back is flat. Don't allow your hips or your belly to droop down. Tighten up your abs. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips up high and keep them lifted high. And then make sure your body stays in one perfectly straight line from your heels all the way to your shoulders. You're going to lower your chest down to the ground as close as you can. Do your push-up. And then 2 shoulder taps. So picking up one hand at a time and tapping the opposite shoulder. Okay, and that's it. So if you don't have a ball, but you still want to elevate your feet, then maybe you could elevate your feet on, again, a low plyo box, or maybe a chair or a stool or something. Any strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface will work. For this, the lower your elevated surface is to the ground, the easier your push-up will be, and the taller your elevated surface, the more difficult your push-up will be. So take that into consideration. But again, if you're taking your workout to the beach or the park or something like that, you could maybe find a boulder or steps, maybe the bottom couple of steps on a staircase or a park bench. If you're at home, maybe again, like a couple of cinder blocks, an aerobic step, or a milk crate, or a chair, something like that. Just make sure if you're using something light, like a chair or a stool that could potentially slide from underneath you, maybe place it on top of an exercise mat so that it stays put. Be smart, be safe, use your common sense, but pretty much any strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface will work. If you don't want to elevate your feet, that's fine. You can just do your push-up with your feet on the ground, okay? So just shoulder tap push-ups. Super simple. Push up, tap the shoulder, tap the shoulder. You can add a couple more taps if you want. That's what we did in year 5. We did a push-up and then 4 shoulder taps. You can increase the difficulty for your push-up by doing like a reptile push-up plus 2 shoulder taps, or a core twist push-up. Any push-up variation you want to do with or without the shoulder taps is fine, but I am doing shoulder tap push-ups, 1 tap on each shoulder per rep, and I'm going to have my feet elevated on my oogie ball for difficulty. Just do your best to not rock back and forth too much while you are doing these shoulder taps. So the temptation is going to be to allow your hips to open up to the side as you pick up your hand. And that's bound to happen at least a little bit because you're shifting your weight from one hand to the other. So you're going to shift a little bit, but do your best to keep your torso, keep your chest pointed straight down towards the ground the entire time as much as possible, so that as you're doing those shoulder taps, you're aiming to keep everything else perfectly still and not allow your hips to open up to the sides. Don't beat yourself up about it, just be cognizant of it and do your best to keep your entire torso facing straight towards the ground, your hips and your chest facing straight towards the ground the entire time. But that's it, that's my push-up variation. That's all 4 exercises. Super simple format. We're going in order through the circuit. When I say in order, I mean that we are spelling the word slap with our circuit. So the circuit is first squats, then lunges, then abs, then push-ups. So we are doing our halo plus a jump squat first. That's our first exercise. We're doing 20 reps. Then we are moving on to lunges. So we're doing our kick over the dip bar into a reverse lunge. I'm going to be doing 20 reps on each side, which means I'm going to be counting to 40, which means I'm doubling my lunges today. So by the end of the workout, I will have completed a total of 40 reverse lunges on each leg. So if you do not want to do that, if you do not want to double your lunges, then you are going to do half the amount of lunges I'm doing with each round. So for round 1, you'll see me get to 20 and then keep going. If you want to stop after 20, that's fine. You stop after 20 and then you move on to your abs and push-ups, and then you do 20 reps of lunges with each round. So that by the end of the workout, you will have completed a grand total of 40 lunges, meaning 20 reps on each leg. I'm doubling that. So that's optional. Then we're moving on to abs. So I am doing my weighted knee raises, 20 reps. And then we'll finish up with 20 reps of whatever push-up variation you're doing. So I'm doing shoulder taps, push-ups with my feet elevated on the ball, 20 reps. And then we'll just repeat the circuit once more, and that's it. That's the workout. Super simple format. SLAP, 20 reps of everything twice through the circuit. So hopefully that is clear. Please remember that I do always take the time to check out the instructions in the description box down below the video. And of course, I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you. So watch me do it, read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format of the workout and how everything fits together, if you have questions about any of the exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions beyond what I have already provided, if you need to see beginner modifications, I'm always here to help, so please ask questions if you have them. It is incredibly important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And hopefully you guys know that it is also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. So I am always here to help facilitate that. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. I also want to remind you, especially if you're going to be working out along with the video, to please make sure that you are going at your own pace and minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. So if you're in really great shape, you are definitely going to be faster than I am, and that's wonderful. Be faster than I am, as long as you're not losing anything off of your form to get there. If you are racing to stay ahead of me, either because you're competing with me and you want to beat my score, or because you have set a really ambitious time goal for yourself that you're chasing, and your form starts to get sloppy, that means you need to slow down. It is always going to be safer and more effective to slow down and do your reps with excellent form than it is to race through the workout and allow your form to get sloppy. And I'm not discouraging you from competing with me. If you want to compete with me and try to stay ahead of me, that's great. Just make sure you're minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. If you are slower than I am, also wonderful. And I mean wonderful, because how would you even know that you're slower than I am unless you got your little booty dressed and you were out here doing these reps with me today? So as long as you're getting the reps done, that's what matters. That, and that you're doing them with the correct form. So please do not race to keep up with me. If you're racing to keep up with me and your form starts to get sloppy, that means you need to slow down. If you fall behind, either because you're just working at a slower pace than I am, or you're needing longer rest breaks than what I'm taking, or you're needing rest breaks where I'm not taking them, that's fine. Just pause the video and come back when you're ready. I do want you to challenge yourself to keep your rest breaks as short as you can, but they should be as long as you need. I only want you to resume the workout once you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina so that you can continue with good form. So please be smart, be safe, use your common sense, listen to your body, make the decision that is best for you. Make sure you're going at your own pace, make sure you're minding your form, never sacrifice your form for speed, make sure you're working to your own level. So that means choosing a ball or a dumbbell or a kettlebell that is an appropriate weight for you, nothing too heavy. It means losing the added weight if it becomes too taxing. It means choosing an elevated surface that is an appropriate height for you. It means shortening up your range of motion on the lunges or holding on to something for support for your squats. It might mean putting your knees down for the push-ups. So please just make sure that you're working to your own level. Do not push your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do, and do your best. Please remember that your best is always good enough, so let your best be good enough. Hopefully I have covered everything. If you're ready to go ahead and begin the workout, gather whatever equipment you need. So for me, that's just my pink Oogie ball and my dip bar. But if you don't have a dip bar, remember, you might be able to repurpose an old walker or use a pull-up bar. But if you have nothing that's going to work, you don't need to use a dip bar. You have your equipment-free options. If you do not have a ball, you may be able to incorporate a dumbbell or a kettlebell or a household item, some other sort of weight for our squat variation. But if you have nothing that's going to work for weight, or you just don't want to add weight to the workout, that's fine. You have your body weight alternative for the squats. And for your push-ups, some kind of lower elevated surface if you want to do the push-ups with your feet elevated, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. If you do need push-ups, or if you are doing an ab exercise where you're going to be down on the floor or the ground, then obviously you're going to be more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So an exercise mat or a yoga mat is ideal. But if you don't have a mat, a towel should suffice. And if you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. And then pause the video, go get dressed. Meet me right back here. We're going to start with a quick little 5-minute warm up, and then we'll get right into our day 30 reps. So as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure that your arm is completely relaxed. You're not pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just allowing gravity to do all the work of gently stretching the opposite side of your neck by just using the weight of your arm to do so. So now we're going to switch sides. Allow your head to fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure your arm is completely relaxed, and allow your shoulders to relax as well. Let them fall down away from your ears. Next, we're going to do some head rolls. So you're going to start by allowing your chin to fall first towards your chest and then towards the opposite shoulder and back. And each time you roll your head from one shoulder to the other, just start feeling your head getting heavier and heavier as you allow your range of motion to increase until eventually your entire torso is just kind of spilling in front of you. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. Now we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So you can roll your shoulders either towards the back or towards the front. It doesn't matter, but you want to really explore your full range of motion here. So think about making those circles as big as you possibly can, kind of exaggerating the movement. Next, we're going to do some arm circles. So extend your arms straight out to the sides and begin by making small circles either towards the back or towards the front. It doesn't matter. But gradually, as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally you are making your circles as big as you possibly can, exploring your full range of motion. Now, feet wider than shoulder width apart. Bend the knees and sweep your arms in front of you. And as you stand, as you straighten your legs, you're reaching up as high as you can. Each time you bend your knees, allowing your range of motion to increase, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now keep your feet planted right where they are. They should be wider than shoulder width apart. We're just going to lunge side to side, nice and easy. Now add the arms. So now with each lunge, I'm just reaching my arm across my body, like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Now step the feet in. We're going to march in place, starting with your knees low, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you possibly can. Really get them up there. Feel a nice little stretch in your glutes. Now we're going to jog in place. Same thing, starting with your knees low, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you are driving your knees up as high as you possibly can. Next is booty kicks. So keep jogging, but now with each step, you're going to bring your foot behind you. Really actually try to kick yourself in the booty cheek with your heel. For this next one, if you struggle with balance, you can hold onto the wall or a chair for support, or your dip bar, or your walker. If not, hands on the hips is fine. You're going to transfer your weight into one foot, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg front and back. Nice and easy. We're just waking up those hip flexors. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you'll put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the opposite foot, and swing the leg front and back. You can start low, and then as the interval progresses, if it feels comfortable, you can start expanding your range of motion, swinging that leg higher and higher. Now we're going to transfer the weight again. Put this foot down, pick up the opposite foot, extend the leg out in front, and then bring the leg around and behind you, making a little semicircle. And each time you make that semicircle, you're lifting the leg higher and higher. And now we're going to finish with 2 hip circles. So drive the knee up towards your chest. Use your hand to guide it around. Other side. Extend the opposite leg out in front. Bring the leg around and behind. Lifting the leg higher and higher each time you make that semicircle. And now 2 hip circles. Drive the knee up towards your chest. Use your hand to guide it around. Finishing with a hamstring stretch. Feet wide apart, hinge at the hips, forward fold. If you are tight in the backs of your legs, if your hamstrings are tight, it might help to use the wall or a chair or the arm of your couch to assist you getting in this stretch. You want to keep your back as flat as possible so that you isolate your hamstrings more effectively. So if you use a chair or the wall or something like that to assist you, it can make it easier to keep your back flat. Can ultimately make the stretch a little bit more comfortable, and it might make it a little bit more accessible for you. But that's it. That is our little 5-minute warm up. So let's get right into the workout. We are starting with squats, 20 reps. As soon as you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So I'm holding onto my uke ball. I'm going to start with a halo, so bringing the ball up and around my head. Now squat and jump Alternating directions for my halo with each rep. So halo, squat, and jump. That's 2. Halo, squat, and jump. Halo in the other direction. Squat down, jump up. That's 4. We're going to 20. Do your best. That's 20. So now moving on to lunges. So I'm using my dip bar as a target. You can use anything that's about this height, a park bench, a chair, the arm of your couch. Remember that I'm double counting these. So I'm going to do 20 reps on each leg, which means a total of 40 reps. If you don't want to double count your lunges, then you'll stop after 20. So pick up one foot. You're gonna bring the leg across your body, then up and over the dip bar. Other leg follows in the same direction. Reverse lunge. And now back in the other way. Kick up and over, and lunge. So that's 2 reps. So you can do 20 or 40. That's up to you, all right? So kick the leg up and over, other leg follows in the same direction, right into your reverse lunge. Now up and over, reverse lunge. That's 20. So I'm going to do another 20. If you don't want to double your lunges, you can move on to abs. And that's 40. All right. So just like that, Squats are halfway done. Lunges are halfway done. Even though we've already done 40 lunges. Today we're doing 40 reps on each leg. So now moving on to abs. You can do any ab exercise you want. I'm doing knee raises on my dip bar. And I'm going to be holding my oogie ball in between my knees to increase the difficulty. So you can do these with or without weight. Make the decision that's best for you. So just bend the knees, lift your knees up towards your chest, then lower the legs with control. That's 20. So now, for my push-ups, I'm not using my oogie ball as a weight. Just elevating my feet on the ball to add difficulty to the exercise. And you don't have to use a ball. You can use a plyo box or an aerobic step or a bench or something. But the instability of the ball is what really, really increases the difficulty level. So any kind of ball will work, but of course you don't have to elevate your feet at all if you don't want to. Any push-up variation you want to do is fine. I'm doing shoulder tap push-ups. So it's one push-up with my feet on the ball and then 2 shoulder taps, alternating sides with each shoulder tap. So when you're ready, here we go. Feet on the ball if you want. So, feet on the ball, push up, and now shoulder tap, 20 reps, do your best. All right, that's round 1. It took me over 9 minutes. So I've explained everything once. I've talked us through the first round. We have to do one more round. You've seen everything. You know what we're doing. So I'm gonna try to talk less. I will talk less. And hopefully I can pick up the pace a little bit in this second round. So I'm going to try to go faster, but not at the expense of my form. If you need a longer rest break in between rounds, You can pause the video, towel off, get a sip of water, let your heart rate come down a little bit, allow your breathing to normalize. And when you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina to continue with good form, come back and let's start round 2 together. So another 20 squats, with or without weight, with or without a jump. Remember, any squat variation you want to do is fine. So I'm doing a halo plus a squat jump, alternating sides with my halo for each rep. 18 more. Do your best. Squats are all done. On to lunges. I'm doing 40 total reps. You can do 20 if you prefer. As soon as you're ready, here we go. Doubling your lunges. You can move on to abs. I'm just gonna do another 10 reps on each leg, that's all. Four more on each side, keep pushing. Or no, 2 more on each side, that's 37. 38, 1 more on each leg. 39, last one. And 40. All right, squats and lunges are now done. exercises. But any ab exercise you want to do with or without a ball is fine. 20 reps. Even if your ball doesn't weigh much, it's still a great exercise to do with a ball because you really have to work your adductors or whatever these ones are. It's 100 degrees out here. Don't make me think. The insides of your thighs. Let's call them that. You really have to work the insides of your legs to squeeze the ball. So just adds so much difficulty. All right, 10 push-ups. I mean 20 push-ups. Look at me trying to cheat. If it's getting too difficult with your feet elevated, you can put your feet flat on the ground. I want to keep doing the exercise this way. So I'm just pausing to rest. I have to do 10 more, but I'm pretty sure I cannot do another 10 unbroken. So I'm gonna try to see if I can do 5 and 5. So I'm gonna make it my goal to get to 15 before I have to pause and rest again. That's 15. I'm maintaining about the same pace I did in round 1, and I'm fine with that. We're about to hit the 19-minute mark. Just have 5 reps left to go. Let's push. Tough little workout, and it's tempting to just collapse in a heap, but we gotta get up and move. So that ended up taking me a total of 19 minutes and 19 seconds. If you timed yourself and you feel comfortable doing so, please feel free to share your score in the comments. Let me know how long it took you. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete, and especially no workout of this challenge is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. The bonus burpee is mandatory. It is part of every single workout during this challenge, and doing your bonus burpee after each and every workout is part of the challenge. You do not have to include a push-up with your bonus burpee if you don't want to. Any burpee variation you want to do is fine, but you must do your bonus burpee. It is the exclamation point at the end of the workout. It's a little celebration that we got these reps done today, and it's a little pat on your back for sticking with the challenge for yet another day. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. This is our final rep of the day. The workout is now officially complete, so let's just do a quick cool down together. You want to keep moving while you allow your heart rate to come down and while you allow your breathing to normalize. So you can pace around back and forth, maybe shake out the legs a little bit. Let's do a shoulder stretch, bringing one arm across your body, using your other arm to pull it in close to your chest. Make sure that your straight arm is completely relaxed, and make sure that your shoulder is relaxed. If your shoulder is tense and hunched up by your ear, you're not going to be able to stretch it effectively, and this is a really nice stretch to do after all those push-ups. So relax the arm, relax the shoulder, feel that nice stretch in your shoulder. Shake it out. Let's get the other side. So bringing the opposite arm across your body, using your other arm to pull it in close to your chest. Straight arm is completely relaxed. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed, and make sure you're continuing to move. So you can see I'm kind of pacing back and forth. If you are still breathing heavily, pacing might be the best thing. If you're not breathing quite as heavily anymore, maybe just shake out the legs. You can even shift your weight from foot to foot. But keep moving while we're doing these stretches. You just want to kind of keep the circulation going. Keep your muscles warm while we're cooling them down, if that makes sense. And also make sure that you're focusing on slowing down your breathing. So you do that by really feeling your diaphragm being pulled down as you inhale. Visualize inhaling all the way down to your belly button. Allow your rib cage to physically expand, and imagine filling up your entire torso with air. And then use your diaphragm to control the air as you exhale. Let's do a tricep stretch next. So bending your elbow, place your hand on the elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that the fingers on your free hand are pointing straight down at the ground. You want to avoid having your free hand hanging out up here somewhere by your shoulder, so point those fingers straight down at the ground as you gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Feel that really nice stretch in your triceps. Keep moving. So again, I'm just kind of shifting my weight from foot to foot. You can shake out the legs, you can pace and keep focusing on your breath. So let's take one more nice deep breath here. Inhaling all the way down to your belly button. Fill up your entire torso with air and use your diaphragm to control the air as you exhale. Shake it out. Let's get the other side. So bending your other arm. Place your hand on the elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that the fingers on your free hand are pointing straight down at the ground. This is another stretch that just feels heavenly after all those push-ups. So really feel that nice stretch in your triceps. Keep moving and keep focusing on your breathing. So let's take one more nice deep breath here. So again, you're allowing your diaphragm to be pulled down, breathing all the way down to your belly button. Your rib cage should actually literally expand, and you're just going to visualize filling up your torso with air. I know you're actually only filling up your lungs, but you want to imagine that you're filling your entire torso with air as you inhale. And then really feel your diaphragm controlling that exhale. Shake it out. We're going to finish with a quad stretch. So if you struggle with balance, you can hold on to the wall or some other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support, maybe your dip bar or your walker, or just your kitchen counter, dining room table, the arm of your couch. You're going to just bend one knee, bring the foot behind you, reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with the hand that's on the same side if you're holding on to something for support. If you're not holding on to anything for support, you can reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. And now press your heel into your booty cheek. Really, really, really press it in there. And as you're doing that, you're going to tilt your pelvis forward. So think about tucking your booty underneath you, trying to touch your spine with your belly button. As soon as you combine both of those two elements, you're going to feel that stretch instantly intensify in your quad muscles as you isolate them more effectively. But I also want you to feel that stretch extend all the way up to your hip flexors. So make sure you're pressing your heel into the booty cheek and tilting your pelvis forward at the same time. One more deep breath here. Control the exhale, come out, shake out the legs. Let's get the other side. So bending the opposite knee, reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with the hand that's on the same side if you're holding on to something for support. If you are not holding on to anything for support, reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. Press your heel into your booty cheek, and as you're doing that, tilt the pelvis forward. Tuck that booty underneath you. Suck your belly button back towards your spine. Make sure you're breathing. So inhaling all the way down to your belly button. Keep pressing your heel into your booty cheek and keep tilting your pelvis forward. Make sure you're doing both of those things at the same time continuously so that you really feel that nice stretch in your quads, and then feel the stretch extend all the way up to your hip flexors. So one more nice deep breath here. Feel your diaphragm being pulled down. Inhale all the way down to your belly button. Fill your entire torso with air. Control the air as you exhale and come out. And one more time, just shake out the legs, shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, swing the arms a little bit. That's it, that's our little cool down. If you find that you're still breathing heavily, your heart rate is still elevated, you can continue to pace around a little more, maybe do some more light stretching. I'm going to move right onto cardio. So I have Rude Becca here with me today. Rude Becca is my adorable black jump rope with these cute little white skulls on the handles. If you would like to know where I get my jump ropes, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code RudeBecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. I am going to go inside where it's cool. It's 100 degrees out here, I'm dripping with sweat. So I am going to go inside. I am going to set my interval timer for 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals times 40 rounds. That's 20 minutes. I'm going to get some music going so it's not so tedious, and I am going to do 20 minutes of interval jump rope, moderate paced cardio for 20 minutes, and then my 20-30 minute stretching routine. Then I'll get in the shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of my day. The additional cardio is not required. It is not technically part of the challenge, but I'm sharing this with you because every year since year 2 or 3 of the challenge, this is how I do my 40-day slap challenge. After every single workout, I like to tack on 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio. So for me, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be 20 minutes of interval jump rope. But every once in a while, I might decide to go for a jog. If it's nice out, not too hot, and if I have a little extra time, I might go for a nice long hike. So those are all great options. But you could hop on the exercise bike or the treadmill, elliptical, Stairmaster, something like that, if you have access to something like that. Or if you have access to like a heavy bag, you could work on your heavy bag for, I don't know, how long does one work on a heavy bag for? 20 minutes? If you have a bike, you could go for a bike ride, or if you have access to a pool or you live close to a body of water and the weather is permitting, a swim would be a great option. Swimming is amazing cardio. But any type of moderate pace cardio you want to do is fine. 20, 30 minutes, more if you have time. If you have stairs in your home or your apartment complex, up and down the steps is another great option. Or if you took your workout to the beach or the park or the hiking trail today and there's steps there. If you have access to the field at your local high school, you could do up and down the bleachers, or you could jog around the track, or some combination of the two. If you enjoy something like, you could do like a fitness class or something like that. If that's something that's enjoyable to you, it should be enjoyable. So don't force yourself to go to a fitness class if you hate it. You can just meet up with a friend in the park and play some tennis or some basketball. So again, the additional cardio is not required, but if you are looking to use this challenge to get yourself in shape, if you want to improve your stamina, and if you're maybe trying to lose weight, the additional cardio is going to help you to start to see results faster. It's going to help to accelerate that process for you. And I think you're going to be so much happier with your results on day 40. So I like to do this after every single workout, but I understand that not everybody has the time to do that. But I strongly recommend that you find at least 2 or 3 days a week where you can tack on 20 or 30 minutes of additional cardio after the workout. So once more, the additional cardio is not required. It is not officially part of the challenge, but it is strongly recommended. Also incredibly strongly recommended is that you are finding at least 20 or 30 minutes every day to stretch. Immediately after the workout or immediately after your cardio, if you're adding cardio, that's going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm from the workout. But if you don't have time to do your stretching right now, that's fine. It doesn't matter what time of day you do your stretching, just as long as you get it done. But it's incredibly important that you are taking time to stretch every day. It is going to help alleviate any muscle soreness that you might be experiencing after the workouts. It is also going to help reduce your risk of injury moving forward, and of course it's going to improve your flexibility. And all three of those things are important on their own, but they're especially important if you are doing this challenge with me. So first of all, if you are doing this challenge and daily exercise is something new to you, then it's very likely that you are experiencing muscle soreness. So if you take the time to stretch after the workouts, you're going to help alleviate some of that soreness, and that is going to increase the likelihood that you are able to stick with the challenge, because if you become so sore that you can't move, it's going to be next to impossible to find the motivation to do your reps that day. But if you had taken the time to stretch the day before, you might still be sore, but you would be feeling a little better, and you would be more likely to say, okay, I'm not 100%, I'm feeling sore, but I can move, and I really want to stick with the challenge, so I'm going to get my reps done today. The second thing that is such an important benefit of doing your stretching every day is that you are reducing your risk of injury moving forward. So again, that's important on its own, because who wants to be injured? But it's especially important if you're doing this challenge, because one of the main objectives of this challenge is to establish a habit of daily exercise, and you do that through consistent effort. That is why we are working out 6 days a week, 6 days in a row, every single week, Monday through Saturday. So that the goal is to do all of the challenge, all of days 1 through 40, the whole challenge with me, so that by day 40, you will have firmly established that habit of daily exercise. And then after the challenge is complete, you will continue making daily exercise a part of your routine. But if you become injured, then you're going to have to miss a few days while your body recovers, and all of that momentum that we've been working so hard to build is going to come to a screeching halt. It's going to make it that much more difficult to establish that habit of daily exercise, and you're not getting the maximum benefits out of this challenge that you could if you were able to do all 40 days with me. So the two most important things you can do to mitigate the risk of injury is, number one, doing your reps with the correct form every day, and number two, taking the time to stretch after the workouts. Taking the time to stretch every day, you are training your muscles to be generally more pliable. They're going to be more resilient. It's going to lessen the likelihood that you are going to strain something or pull a muscle during one of the workouts, and that is going to increase the likelihood that you are able to complete all 40 days of this challenge with me. Remember that taking the time to stretch every day, and even if you do every single rep with perfect form, there are no guarantees. You could still get hurt. Injuries happen. So if you do become injured, please be smart, listen to your body, rest if you need to, take a few days off. It is always going to be better to do what you can. So even if you can't do all 40 days of the challenge, take the time to rest and recover, and then get back into it. If you need help finding the motivation to pick it back up and get back into the challenge after an injury, I'm right here to help. But just make sure that you're not pushing yourself through an injury if it's not the best decision for you. Yes, it's the goal to do all 40 days of the challenge, but not at the expense of your physical health. That goes against everything this challenge is about. And I also don't want you to get down on yourself if you become injured, or if you have to miss days for any other reason. So if you need like a mental health day, if things are going really, really wrong and you need a day, you should take a day, and it might mean that you failed. If you set out to do all 40 days of the challenge and you missed a day or 2 or 3, then did you fail? I guess technically you failed, but one of the main things we're trying to accomplish with this challenge is kind of a paradigm shift. So you have to kind of step back from that word. That word has a meaning, and by definition of the word fail, maybe you failed, but don't let that be an indictment of your self-worth, okay? That's Brutus. If you don't know who Brutus is, watch the day 1 video from last year. I told you all about Brutus and why he deserves to be slapped with these squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups every day. So if you just need a personal day for mental health reasons, or if you become injured and you need to sit out for a few days and rest, that is what you should do. Do not beat yourself up about it. Do not think that it means that you failed at the challenge and so there's no point in continuing. come back when you're ready, do as many days of the challenge as you can. And then next year when we do the challenge, you can try to beat whatever you did this year, okay? So I know that's a little sidebar, but it's just that the goal is, of course, to do all 40 days of the challenge, but do as many days of the challenge as you can. And one of the things you can do to stack the deck in your favor is to take measures to avoid becoming injured. So make sure you're taking the time to stretch every day. It is going to greatly reduce your risk of injury. And also taking the time to stretch every day is, of course, going to improve your flexibility. So if you are doing these 160 reps with me every day to get stronger, and you're adding on 20 or 30 minutes or more of additional moderate paced cardio after as many of the workouts as you can, at least 2 to 3 days a week to improve your stamina, why not take the time to stretch every day so that you improve your flexibility while you're at it? Flexibility is a very important aspect of your overall fitness level, and it's something that I think can sometimes be overlooked and undervalued. So please make sure that you are taking the time to stretch every day, but please make sure that you are doing so safely. So if you are going to put off your stretching until later on in the day, that's fine. Just remember that if you do that, your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you will need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin stretching. You never want to jump into your stretching routine with cold muscles, because your muscles need to be warm in order for them to be pliable so that you can stretch them safely and effectively. But that is it. That is all I have for you today. That is officially a wrap on day 30, and that means we only have 10 days left of this challenge, which is absolutely amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did this day 30 workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. If you are doing the challenge with me, thank you so much. And please let me know. Every year I have people doing the challenge with me and they tell me about it in, August. So I like to have an idea of how many people are doing the challenge with me each year. So if you're doing the challenge with me, please let me know and thank you. Whether you started the challenge on day 1 and you did the first 20 days, or you started the challenge on day 21 and you're doing the final 20 days with me, whether you're doing the whole 40 days, every other day of the challenge, I appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you for doing the challenge with me. And even if you're not doing the challenge, thank you for doing today's workout with me. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you're not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. Also, if you know anyone else who might be interested in joining the challenge, remember that even though today is day 30, that does not mean it is too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join the challenge. So please feel free to share this workout with them. Please feel free to share any or all of the playlists with them. Remember, this challenge is suitable for all fitness levels, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And the more people I have doing the challenge with me every year, the happier I am. So please feel free to share. Please remember to give me a like if you enjoyed today's workout. And one final reminder that if anything was unclear about the format of today's workout, how everything fits together, if you have any questions about the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions beyond what I have already provided, if you need to see beginner modifications for any of these exercises that we were doing today, I am always here to help. So please ask questions if you have them. And that is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 31. Bye.